Welcome back. We're going to explore the subject of how to work with dreams. So we've seen before how to understand dreams, but understanding dreams is, in fact, in my perspective, not even the most important aspect. What you really can do with dreams in order to progress in your either personal development or growth or some healing processes, that is the most important, and we will see what that means. Now let's start with an example. A woman dreams that she is in a shop with jewels, wonderful precious stones. She's visiting that shop and she is looking at a big stone, very shining, a wonderful, precious stone. She wants to buy that, but she looks at the price and there is no way she can afford. It's hugely expensive, so she feels disappointed. At that moment, another woman walks into that shop, and that woman also looks at that same precious stone. That woman is rich. She has rich clothes and she can afford it. So she buys that same precious stone right away. And our dreamer wakes up. So what is this dream telling her? If we reformulate the dream elements, knowing that she fully owns every part of it, this is happening inside some building, so it's an inner environment. It's talking about herself. So if we reformulate these dreams as follows. I, from the dreamer's perspective, find myself in my inner space that carries all my beauty. That is the jewelry, all my inner value. I am looking at something most precious inside me. I want to own that. I want to associate with that. But I don't believe I can afford that. This is not really for me. However, I am aware of another part of me, the rich woman, who is also present in my awareness because I see her. And she is rich, so she has the capacities to own that high value preciousness that is mine. If we understand the dream in this way, we understand that it's all about her, we understand that she is identifying with the part of her that has doubts about who she is. However, she is aware of another part of her that can fully accept owning that inner beauty of hers. So what can we do with that dream? Well, I invite the dreamer to close her eyes and to reconnect with that dream, to go back to the atmosphere of the dream in her mind, just imagining. So she closes her eyes and I tell her, give me a signal when you can reconnect with that. Usually people can easily reconnect with their own dreams. They have had these dreams, these images are their own, so they can quite easily reconnect with that, sometimes even if it's not so recent. So she can reconnect. So I ask her, now, look at the rich woman who walks into that shop and buys the precious stone that you like. See that woman. Feel her presence. Can you do that? Usually they can, it's not too difficult. So she gives me a signal and I say, take some time. You are in front of that person. You can feel she is happy, she is rich, she is confident, she can own that precious stone. Now I ask her, imagine you are that woman. Just take some time. Role play that woman. Go into that presence. You are that rich woman. You've just bought that stone. You own it. It is yours. And you are really happy. Go into that perspective. Go into these feelings. Can you do that? I check it out with her. And she says, okay. So I emphasize, I give her a chance to really anchor herself into that perspective. Breathe into these feelings. This is who you are. You are the rich woman. You own that precious stone. Feel it. Breathe into it. I am rich, abundant, beautiful. This is who I am. Take your time. Breathe into that. So I check it. And then I can ask her, now look at the other woman. Look at that part of you who has doubts about her inner value. And you can talk to her. You can say, I am with you. I am here. We are together. We are one. Just come into my presence. I love you. What I have is yours. We are one. Just talk to her like that. Embrace her. She is that part of you that has some doubts about her value. She is not who you are. That's like your inner baby, your inner child. You can talk to her. I love you. Come into my heart. Take your time. Let me know when you're ready. So she does that. And when she's ready, we can talk about it. How did you experience that? How does it feel now? What can you learn from this? I make it clear that who she really is the fully empowered part of her. However, like most of us, we occasionally identify two parts of us that are powerless, that are feeling bad, that are feeling miserable. And we think that's who we really are. And that is the mistake that most people do. They don't know who they are. And we have to make them change perspectives. And this is what our dreams offer us an opportunity to do. They constantly remind us that we are much more than who we think we are. And they offer us clues to access these empowered inner states. So this is basically what we can do with dreams. And that's what I'm going to keep showing you, demonstrating, practicing, and inviting you to practice by yourself. Changing perspectives. Remembering that the I perspective in the dream is not the only perspective you have. This I perspective can be fully resourceful. And then you just breathe into that, fully identify, associate with the empowered perspective. But often, the I perspective in the dream is not the most resourceful part of yourself. And we tend to think that that is who we are. So we have to look at resourceful elements, resourceful parts of the dream, elements or situations in which we can easily reconnect with our inner resources, our inner resourceful self. So we have to understand that we have different inner spaces. We have basically resourceful inner space and powerless inner space, hurt inner spaces. We can use the metaphor of the inner parent inside, the loving part of ourselves, the mature part of ourselves, as a metaphor for the resourceful self. And we can use our hurt inner child as a metaphor for our powerless self. So when we can move out, disidentify from our powerless perspective and reconnect with our empowered perspective, then we can make these two parts of ourselves communicate together. And that is where the healing lies. Reconciliating, harmonizing inner spaces. This is how we can do our healing processes and grow, heal our hurt inner spaces, and anchor ourselves in our resourceful self. This is the healing process. I'd like to show you a slide to illustrate this. So when we have a dream, we have to look at what kind of part of us is the I perspective representing. Is it resourceful or not resourceful? Are there resourceful perspectives or situations in the dream that can help us change perspective? Then we move from the I perspective and we role play the resourceful perspective. And then we can talk to either the I perspective or possibly another hurt perspective. Establish this connection, and the talking is always, I am with you. I love you. Just come into my presence. We are one. The talking can be suggested to the client. The talking you should be familiar with. We're going to practice that. It's always the same simple talking. I am with you. Come into my presence. We are one. Let's breathe together. Let's breathe into empowered feelings. This is who I am. That is what you can do. Let's look at another example. Imagine we are having this dream. I am going up a steep ladder. It's a very difficult and scary experience. I can hardly move. However, on that steep ladder, I notice a woman at the top where I'm trying to reach, somewhere higher up in a building. And the woman at the top is stretching out her arm to help me. Then I realize I can take that arm, take the hand, and much more easily reach the top. That is the dream. So we have an I perspective that is powerless. We have a woman at the top that is resourceful, that is the part of her that is confident, that has already reached her goal. And we can reformulate this dream as follows. I am trying to reach a high goal, but it is very tricky and a challenging situation. It is difficult and scary. I feel unsafe. I feel stuck. I can't move. I feel inhibited. However, I am aware of another part of me that has already reached my goal. My resourceful inner part helps me out of my uncomfortable and powerless situation. And thanks to my inner resourceful space, I succeed